Hello everyone! Welcome back to the series tutorial of the secondary development of Wings engine. We've talked about the properties get and set, and the change of attributes, how to get it, this, which are all for the built-in attributes of Wings engine. If we want to create some of our own properties, create some of our own attributes, what should we do? So, we need to use our custom crystal panels. Let's first take a look at the custom crystal panel in our Decay documents. First is a basic concept. When we write any public property in the extension class, any public property we write, it will turn it into a custom property panel. Like here, A, B, and which C is a string. Then it will become an input box. However, if you don't want it to generate a property panel, then define it as a private property. This is the syntax added by yourself. Just add a hash sign. Of course, we can directly use set and get, which is equivalent to public. It will also generate a data panel for us. Panel. The second part is to listen to changes. We previously in the predefined built-in attributes. How can we listen to changes? We use add event listeners and the option change event. For our custom attributes, it's relatively simple. We just need to use onPropertyChanged to listen to its changes. To listen to its changes, it's a property, which is a string type, which is directly the name of the attribute. It is also a string. Okay, let's take a look at our custom attributes. How many custom properties there are? We have written 12 here. There may be one missing here. There is also a boolean value. These 12 types. There are relatively simple ones, such as numbers, strings and booleans, and some that require us to define classes, such as vectors. Vectors, drop-down fonts, and paragraph color, and so on. Of course, there are some more complex ones which are tightly coupled with our software, such as components, data, including files, and so on. The calling methods are more complex. We will gradually talk about them in later courses. Today, let's take a look at the three simplest attributes, which are boolean, numbers, and numbers. Okay, let's go back to the previous section. Let me briefly add here. That is, in the comment code here. There are actually quite a lot of codes. For example, the ints we talked about earlier. It can actually be directly ended here. The code we are working on today can also be directly decompressed. We see here that we have 3, which are boolean, string, and number. We can uncomment it and go back to the software. And we can refresh it to see it. This is the input of the string. This is the number. There's nothing. It's very simple for strings. We can also define some strings. English, hello, world, or Chinese, okay? Save it and let me see. Okay, it's in there now. Our content. Not only the content can be defined in Chinese, but also the variable name can be defined in Chinese. In this way, for some practical users, it will be more friendly. Okay, so we can be more specific. How should we call this switch? How to call this switch? It's quite simple. We just print it directly. We printed it in the ready. You can see the code prompt directly. Just directly use this thing, because it is a basic type, so it is not a class. It is directly the type itself. If we turn on this switch, then it is true. Let's save it. And then refresh. Okay. Let's take a look here. If we turn it off and save it, no need to save, and refreshing will also show false. Why do we need to refresh here? Because we need to call the ready method. After refreshing, it will call the ready method again. Now let me show you. Let's take a look together. How I use this switch value to directly control such an animation. Okay, we need to first unbind the animation. Then, if this switch is on, if it's turned on, we'll let it move. If it's not open, then we let it come back. Close it and let it come back. Let's take a look. Such a code. It's very simple. We just need to identify this switch. That's all we need to do. Okay, let's refresh it. Okay, at this time, because it's false, let's turn it on. Close it. Open and close. This achieves a very simple to control the animation with a switch function. However, is our function like this completely correct? There is a small flaw. For example, if we move it away, I moved it here. I moved it here. It will jump back directly. Why is that? Because we mentioned earlier that our update method is called every. It's called every frame. So when I moved it away, it will be called again to make it go back. So this is not a perfect way to write. So how can we? The moment the switch is turned off, to jump it back, we need to use our onPropertyChanged. We also remove the comments here. After removing the comments, we use D81. We are not using DY. We use the switch. Okay, when we have a switch here, and this switch equals false, we put it back. Okay, we don't turn on the switch here. When it's on, we move it. If it is turned off at that moment, that time, we put it back. Okay, let's refresh and take a look. Okay, we turn it off and put it back. I moved it, and it's totally fine, because it won't be called again in every frame. Let's open it again. It will continue from here. Maybe you also hope that we can make it more perfect. That is, it doesn't go back here. It starts from where I put it. How to do this? Let's take a look. Actually, it's very simple. The reason is that is, when this value is below this value, and our values, because after turning on the switch, it still uses our 396. If we just use E6, okay, let's refresh and take a look. Let's put it here. Okay, it starts from here. Today we showed you the most basic, how to use these 3 types of custom attributes. And we showed you using a switch to control animation, a very basic example of two-way switching. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you all.